Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Hairul Nizam and my fellow friends. Today, my group would like to present about the cases, theory and punishment under the conflict of interest and false disclosure. Before we proceed, here is our group member. I'm Ada Zakirah binti Ahmad Fauzi, Ainul Fatin Arisha binti Syaiful Zaman, Nadirah binti Abdul Razak, Nur Syafiqah Amira binti Mat Syarudin, Nur Sharmin binti Muhammad Nurizam, Nur Hidayah binti Ismail, and Nur Suhaiza binti Saudi. Now, I would like to pass to the first presenter is Nur Suhaiza.
Hi, my name is Nur Suhaiza. I will explain about the false disclosure and conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is a situation which an individual has competing interests or loyalties because they are duties to more than one person or organizations. The person wants to exploit his professional capacity for his own benefit. There are cases, theory, and punishment related to the conflict of interest. I will pass to the next presenter to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Suhaiza. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Ismail, and I will present about a case of conflict of interest. This case, based on our findings, Tovanen and Ho in 2019, which is Lawyer of Labor and Employment by Legal 500 Asia Pacific. The title of the case is Case Spotlight Conflict of Interest in Employment. Case Azlia binti Samsi versus Petronas Management Training Sendian Berhad, and the issue conflict of interest. This case actually involved employee A, which is known as Azlia, as a purchasing officer, and two suppliers. The first supplier is non-Hattach Company, which is an entity owned by the employee's son-in-law. And the second supplier is Eminent Networks, which is an entity owned by the employee's son. The employee was alleged to have introduced and recommended two suppliers to the company for the purpose of supplying certain items for events organized by the company. Since they are experienced in the industry and can offer a good discount, employee A did not specifically tell anybody in the company that her son-in-law and son owns the company of supplying items. This situation referred to as potential conflicts of interest. This is because of employee's personal interests are in conflict with the interests of her employer. This scenario, employee A stands to benefit financially from the supplier's appointment, since it are her son-in-law and son's company. However, as a purchasing officer of Petronas, she also has the obligations to ensure that the best supplier is selected and price may not be the sole criteria. If challenged, it's likely that employee will argue that Petronas Management Training Sendian Berhad did not suffer any losses anyway, and in fact benefited from arrangement since the suppliers was the cheapest priced. So, does this make the entire situation acceptable from employment law standpoint? For the further discussion, I'll pass to the next.
Thank you, Hidayah. Assalamualaikum. My name is Nadira. Now let's proceed to theory conflict of interest. Definition of agency theory. The agency theory is relationship between the various interested parties in the firm. The agency theory also examines the duties and conflicts that occur between parties who have an agency relationship. It is helpful in explaining the actions of the various interest groups in the corporate governance debate. What is a conflict of interest? According to the company's Code of Conduct and Ethics Policy, expressly states that an employee and the members of their employee's family may not own any business which derive income or receive payment from contractual or other business arrangement with the companies or is an entity which is the company list of registered contractors. In the event a situation such as the above arises, the employee will be considered to be in a potential conflict of interest situation and will be under a duty to inform their head of department or the human resources department in the writing. Now I will pass to the next presenter, Ainul.
Thank you, Nadira. Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ainul Fatinarisha binti Syaiful Zaman. I'm going to present on punishment for conflict of interest. This is the court's finding for the case Azliyah binti Samsi versus Petronas Management Training Sendirian Berhad. The industrial court dismissed the employee's claim for unfair dismissal. In so holding, the court made the following observations. Conflict of interest is a misconduct, and as such, the test is not whether the employee did it, but rather whether the employer acted reasonably in thinking the employee did it, and whether the employer acted reasonably in dismissing her. The company, therefore, did not need to prove that the employee committed the misconduct with malicious intent or even establish for certain that the misconduct caused the company financial loss or suffered loss in reputation or prestige. Therefore, in order to discharge its burden, the company just needs to show that an investigation into the matter was carried out as was reasonable in all the circumstances, and the employee was given a fair opportunity to explain her position before her dismissal. In this case, a domestic inquiry was conducted, and the employee had in fact pleaded guilty at the domestic inquiry in hopes of getting a lighter sentence. As a result, she was terminated from the company. The industrial court found that the employee's lack of ethical responsibility in breach of the company's policy points directly to her integrity of an employee. The claimant's conduct in failing to disclose her conflict of interest was found to be lacking in honesty, truthfulness, and accuracy of dealings. These are the remedies for conflict of interest. An employee may owe contractual duties as well as the common law duty of fidelity to the company. At common law, the company has the following remedies in the event of breach of duty of fidelity to the employer. First, the company may sue the employee for damages for his breach of the contract of employment. Damages is an exclusive remedy of the common law courts and is the monetary award of a court of law to the plaintiff for the injuries suffered as a result of a breach of contract or for tort. Next, the second remedy, dismissal of the employee for his misconduct. Actual losses need not to be proved conclusively by the way of evidence in conflict of interest situation, but possible detriment or loss to the employer is sufficient. And lastly, the company may decide to other disciplinary sanctions. The disciplinary actions that can be taken by the employer such as verbal warning, written reprimand, suspensions, and discharge. Thank you. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Suhaiza.
Thank you, Ainul. What is false disclosure? False disclosure is lying and misrepresent the information. False disclosure is the person who make the false statement, misrepresent the information to the public and authority. False disclosure in finance is the person or management provide the false information about the company to the public and authority. For example, the company established the false information about the revenue, return of investment of the company, and others issues related to the company to authority and public. There are cases, theory, and punishment related to the false disclosure. I will pass to the next presenter to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Suhaiza. My name is Aida Zakira. I would like to talk about a case regarding false disclosure. There is a lot of cases related to false disclosure. However, I'm interested with this article written by the Age Market, and it's about Cosmo Technology ex-directors fined ordered to serve 2 years in jail over false disclosure. Before we proceed, I would like to tell a little bit about this company. Cosmo Technology Industrial Berhad is an investment holding company. Through its subsidiaries, the company manufactures a wide range of motor vehicles components and accessories as well as mobile phone. Besides that, this company also one of the listed company in Bursa Malaysia. Based on this article on 2nd May 2020, this article had just been tried in court. This case takes 9 years to settle with a punishment. This case about Cosmo Technology Industrial were charged for providing misleading information to Bursa Malaysia. It involved 2 managers and an account manager of Cosmo Technology Industrial. One of the director, Muhammad Azham, and the accounting manager, Helen Lim Hai Lun, were charged on 26 May 2011, while the group managing director, Datuk Nur Hamzah Nordin, was charged on 7 June 2011 by Securities Commission. Cosmo Technology Industrial Berhad were charged for providing misleading information to Bursa Malaysia. Former Group Managing Director Datuk Nur Hamzah and former Executive Director Muhammad Azham were charged in 2011 with 8 counts of furnishing false statements to Bursa Malaysia in relation to Cosmo revenue figures in its unaudited quarterly reports for 2006 and 2007. Meanwhile, Cosmo account manager at the material time, Helen Lim Hai Lun, was charged with abetting in the commission of the offences. Based on Securities Commission, they said the revenue figures, which ranged from 7 million ringgit to 40 million ringgit, were found by the session courts to be false, as they contain fictitious sales. I would like to pass to the next presenter, which is Charming. Thank you.
Thank you, Aida, for your explanation regarding the case exists for false disclosure. Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nur Sharmin. In my part of presentation, I will present about theory that explain how false disclosure happen in Malaysia. Now let's proceed. Theories that I found that are related with false disclosure is signaling theory by Nurmish Hatta, based on her writing in Theories and Determinant of Voluntary Disclosure. Originally, signaling theory was developed to clarify the information asymmetry in the labour market. It has been used to explain voluntary disclosure in corporate reporting. As a result of the information asymmetry problem, companies signal certain information to investors to show that they are better than other companies in the market for the purpose of attracting investment and enhancing a favorable reputation. Voluntary disclosure is one of the signaling means where companies would disclose more information than the mandatory ones required by laws and regulation in order to signal that they are better than others. In a simple word, this theory identifies that people in corporation tends to add information that make them look good even there are faults in the information. Lastly, what I can relate from the theory and this case is that, as we can see in the figure shown, there are words of fictitious sales. The SC said in the statement the revenue figures, which range from 7 million ringgit to 40 million ringgit, were found by the session court to be false as they contain fictitious sales. Fictitious sales mean fake or sales that are not exist. This proves that they want the company look good with the figure of sales. Well, higher sales give good image to the company, but it also means that the corporation is not trustworthy, which indirectly give a bad image to public regarding the fictitious sales figure. That's all from me. Now I will pass to the next presenter, which is Amira, that will explain about punishment of false disclosure. Thank you.
Thank you, Nur Sharmin. Let's move on to this slide. Before that, my name is Nur Shafika Amira binti Mashrudin. I will present about punishment of false disclosure. Nur Hamzah was at the material time the group managing director, while Muhammad Azham was an executive director of Cosmo Technology Industrial Berhad. Both Nur Hamzah and Muhammad Azham were charged under Section 122B, subsection A, Clause BB, read together with Section 122, subsection 1 of the Securities Industry Act 1983 and Section 369, subsection A, Clause B, read together with Section 367, subsection 1 of the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007 for furnishing false statement to Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad in relation to Cosmotech's 8 quarterly reports on the unaudited consolidated results for the financial years 2006 and 2007. Next, on 29 April 2019, the Sessions Court convicted all the accused persons and sentenced them as follows. For Nur Hamzah and Muhammad Azham, first to third charges, a fine of 150,000 ringgit in default, 2 months jail and 3 months jail each. Fourth and fifth charges, a fine of 200,000 ringgit in default, 4 months jail and 10 months jail each. While sixth and seventh charges, a fine of 200,000 ringgit in default, 4 months jail and 1 year jail each. Eighth charge, a fine of 200,000 ringgit in default, 4 months imprisonment and 4 years jail each. Jail terms to run concurrently. Both Nur Hamzah and Muhammad Azham will serve a total jail term of 2 years and will be liable to a total fine of 1.45 million ringgit. For this slide, will be explained about the next accused person, which is Lim Hai Loon. The accounts manager of Cosmotech at the material time was charged for abetting Cosmotech in furnishing the false statements to Bursa Malaysia Berhad in relation to Cosmotech's 8 quarterly reports on the unaudited consolidated results for the financial years 2006 and 2007. It is sentenced them as follows. For the first 2 second charges, a fine of 100,000 ringgit in default 1 month imprisonment and 4 months jail each. Third to fifth charges, a fine of 120,000 ringgit in default 2 months imprisonment and 4 months jail each. Next, 6 and 7 charges, 10 months jail. 8 charge, 1 year jail terms to run concurrently. As the sentence follows, Lim Hai Lun will serve a total jail term of 1 year and will be liable to a total fine of 560,000 ringgit. Thank you. That's all from us.